Hi Foxes, and welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, welcome. I hope that you will stick around. I talk a lot about vintage fashion and style, and in particular selling it on different platforms. Today's video is actually the start of a series, so I want to sort of introduce the series to you and just what I'm going to be talking about and what my goal is with the whole series. I've been really wanting to do this for a while now, and I feel like it's just the time. The time is right to, pass this information along, to make my own journey, and so I'm super, super excited to be talking about plus size vintage and becoming a body positive vintage shop, and like how to source plus size vintage and how to tag it and talk about it and how to promote it. And so I want you to come along on that journey with me. So if that sounds like something that you are interested in, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification, and that way as each part of this series comes out, you'll get a little notification that will let you know that I have posted a new video. So why am I doing this? A few years ago, I really took a look at my vintage business, and in particular Etsy. My sales were just really, really low, and I just wasn't putting a lot of time and effort there, and so I really needed to decide where I wanted to take my brand. It was about the same time that I rebranded to SHOPFOXBURROW from Foxborough Vintage. And part of that was that I really, really wanted to focus on body positivity. I had been a part of the ModCloth group on Facebook. There's like a group of women who love ModCloth and quirky style and vintage, and just a large community, and they're all just so body positive. They taught me so much about messaging from brands and just how to approach the topic as a typically straight size person. So I learned so much from them that I really felt like I wanted to bring that into my business, and being someone who has been straight size for all of their life, that this was kind of my responsibility to make my shop inclusive for them and to include everyone in the vintage community and give them outlets and choices. And so I knew that that was somewhere that I wanted to go, and knowing that, I divided my shop up into different categories for sizes. So when someone comes into your Etsy shop and they're just looking around, how frustrating is it to click on thing after thing after thing, and it's not even they're not your size, So I was like, okay, well, if I want to encourage people to buy multiple things, or I want to make it easy for people to browse and purchase from my shop, I'm going to put the frickin' size right at the beginning of the title. So I started doing that, and then I divided my shop up into sections based on sizes that often overlap, like extra small to small, or medium to large, extra large to 1X, and then 2X and up. And it became very apparent very quickly that I just couldn't get enough of that larger extended sizing that I really wanted to carry in my shop. And so I would have, 84 items in my small, extra small category, and like 5 in the 2X to 4X. And I'm like, this is downright shameful. Like, for what I want my business to be, this is not acceptable. So, but I couldn't really find any or enough plus size vintage, because here's the thing, I was leaving it up to the luck of the draw. So I was leaving it up to when I'm thrifting, or when I'm outsourcing, when I'm at vintage shows, like trying to find some extended sizing there, and just not having a whole lot of luck. And you hear that from a lot of vintage sellers. You hear, oh, there's not a lot of plus size vintage, or it's so rare, or I never find it. And honestly, as someone who has sort of shifted my mindset as to how I look for vintage, as in particular, like during the time of COVID, it is literally because we are not looking. That is why, and we really don't have an excuse. It's because the sourcing methods that we're using to find our stock is not conducive to finding large quantities of extended and plus size vintage. So I thought that I would sit down and kind of share this whole process with you, because even though I know what I'm doing wrong and I know how I want to fix it, I have not fully started yet. So my Etsy vintage shop still doesn't have a lot of plus size stuff in it. It has, I think, maybe like 20, maybe 25 items that are plus size. And I'm not talking about things that are like a size 12 or that are one size. I'm talking about things that are specifically made to fit fat bodies. We're going to use fat in a positive way. So I just don't have a lot of that stuff. And I was, going out and looking, and I just decided that I really wanted to share the information that I'm coming across with you and share the whole journey of becoming like a body positive space for vintage. And a lot of times you will see plus size or fat focused vintage shops are owned by people of that size, and it is because the struggle is real to find shops that are inclusive like that. And I'm just, as a vintage seller and just like someone who embraces body positivity, it's like really frustrating for me that essentially they get to a point where like, well, if no one else is going to do it, then I guess I'll do it myself. So I just want to step up to the plate, and I'm hoping that this series will encourage some of you to step up to the plate to help you find more vintage in those larger sizes and get them into your shop. And let me tell you, man, it sells really well. So I mean, just this week I did like a little sampling and listed one very cute vintage romper in a size 2X, and it's got so much attention on every platform I've listed it on. I'm just waiting to see where it sells, because I know it's going to sell like within the next week or so. And so people are out there and they're looking, and they're even looking more than straight size people because it's so hard for them to find things that are in their size. So this series is really going to be about a couple of things. And one is that I'm going to talk about all of the different places that you can source vintage and that you can be looking for these extended or plus sizes, and just kind of like hold your hand and walk you through how to find these different outlets. And then I just hired a plus size model, and we are going to do a photo shoot next week. So I'm going to kind of like walk you through that process and what I did, because I really don't think it's fair to tout body inclusivity and then put these pieces and pin them onto like a smaller mannequin. And I do have a plus size mannequin. That was a purchase that I made last year to kind of further promote that I really want to make this happen, but I feel like stuff just comes to life on a body. So I'm very excited to do my first photo shoot with a model who's not me. Then I want to just talk about like promoting it and how, how to promote a size inclusive brand when you're not, when maybe you're straight size yourself. Like, you don't want to use hashtags that are maybe reserved for the actual people who are having this struggle of finding clothes in their size, but you do want to reach that audience at the same time. So we're just gonna kind of go on this adventure together. I've got an unboxing of a wholesale vintage plus size dress lot that I did, and yeah, so there's going to be quite a few little videos in this series, and I'm kind of shelving almost everything else to sort of make this happen, so I hope that you will tune in. And be sure to leave me a comment down below and let me know what you are most excited to learn about, and that way I can put the most attention into that video and just making sure that I'm getting all the information across and editing it in a way that's helpful to you. And then I'd also kind of like to talk about, though I'm not sure how it would be received, just sort of like best practices and maybe some worst practices for being a size inclusive brand, and just the wording that you use and the way that you tag your items and promote them on social media. So if you are interested in that as well, then let me know down below. That's a video I'm kind of like iffy on. But yeah, so I'm really excited to get this series off of the ground and see if we can all just be a little more size inclusive. So thank you all so much for watching, and do not forget to give me a thumbs up on the way out and hit the subscribe button, and then if you push the little bell notification, then the next time that I do one of these videos you will get a notification right on YouTube or on your phone. So that is very helpful, and I hope that I will see you for my next one. Okay, bye.